The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Clear the lanes, everyone, as Amber and Scott discuss a big, bold, beautiful journey. Our protagonists don't just meet, they crash into each other's lives via magical rental car. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
It's like rain on your wedding day.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
You're welcome.
Oh, dear.
Should I have done that voice like that when I'm singing? Because I usually talk like this when I'm singing.
I'm very afraid.
Yeah. Don't worry. The musical part of the episode is now over.
Praise be. Praise be. But I'm still concerned.
But as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I have to open with that. I have to. I have to.
Yes, there was rain on a wedding day, for sure. Alrighty, folks, thank you for joining us at Cinema IRL. This episode, we are talking about a big, bold, beautiful journey. Some doors bring you to your past, some doors lead you to the future, and some doors change everything. Sarah and David are single strangers who meet at a mutual friend's wedding, which is where it rains, and soon, through a surprise twist of fate, find themselves on a big, bold, beautiful journey. A funny, fantastical, sweeping adventure together where they get to relive important moments from their respective pasts, illuminating how they got to where they are in their present and possibly getting a chance to alter their futures.
Before we go any further, I don't know if there are people who read reviews before deciding whether or not to watch a movie, because we've already given you the spoiler warning, and the thing I did was first 5 minutes or something, so no big spoiler there. Screw the critics on this one. I'm just going to say screw them. They didn't like this movie. I know why they didn't like this movie. I knew as soon as it was over, I turned to Amber and said the critics are not going to like this movie, but they can screw off.
Yeah, you promptly went to Rotten Tomatoes to see the critic score, and it was lower than what you thought it would be.
Yeah, I said I bet it's 50s, and it was 38, and I'm like, you assholes.
Wah, wah.
Because we are not a movie review show.
The critics also liked Poor Things, and we hated Poor Things.
Yeah,
so.
but we're going to be a little bit of a movie review show for just a moment. This film was freaking beautiful. It was...
Was it big, bold, and beautiful?
It was a big, bold, beautiful movie. I mean, listen, this is what it is. It's one of those romantic comedies, and you have to take it for what it is. And you have to like it. If you don't like romantic comedies, do not go see this movie, because you will not like this movie. But I happen to like romantic comedies. And
you are a rom-com guy.
I thought that I was going to like this movie a lot before I saw it. And after I was done with it, I liked it even more than I thought I was going to like it. I freaking loved this movie.
Okay.
But because I took it for what it was. I took it for the magical, emotional ride that it takes you on. And it was absolutely beautiful. End of movie review show. Or unless Amber wants to.
Well, I think we can explore some of the strengths and or weaknesses as we look at some of the what would you do.
Yeah.
So essentially, we have Sarah and David who meet at a friend's wedding, and they both have some sort of mishap before they're going to the wedding, and they have to rent cars from this very bizarre car rental place.
The car rental association, or what was it?
The car rental company, I think.
Yeah, the car rental company. I mean, it was like the most generic name possible.
Yeah,
and it was wonderful. And
you could tell that there was something strange, something otherworldly, something mystical or magical, or something
magical
about this place. So they both,
especially that one chick's accent.
They both end up renting cars unknowingly from this strange car rental place, and they have the rep for the car rental place, who is very quirky and has a little bit of a potty mouth.
Oh, I loved her. She was great.
And recommends that they both get the GPS, and they're like, no, we just need our phones. They're just like, you got to get the GPS.
Yeah. What if your phone craps out on you?
Yeah.
What I mean, and guys, think about that before you go anywhere. What happens if your phone craps out on you? What would you do? If you drive a Tesla, you could be in trouble.
Yeah, no kidding. So, but we only see David going through this process. We don't realize Sarah has until midway through the movie. But these cars with the GPS is basically this magical assistance that tells them to stop at certain places where in the middle of nowhere, there are doors.
Mind you, these are 1994 Saturn coupes, or sedans. They are not recent cars. They again perfect for what this was.
Yeah, because you go to a car rental place, you don't expect to be offered a car that's 30 plus years old.
Yes.
So they go to the wedding, they meet, they kind of flirt a little bit, and nothing comes of it. But as David is driving home the next day, his GPS says, "Do you want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey, David?" And he's like, "What? The GPS is talking to me?"
Amber,
Yeah.
what would you do if you were driving anywhere and your GPS said, "Amber, would you like to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey?"
See, it's funny because I actually thought about that when that happened in the movie, and I would like to, I thought, oh yeah, I'd say heck yeah, and I'm like, you know what, the skeptic in me would probably say maybe tell me more, because I'm an information seeker. I like to make educated decisions. So then I was like, I'd like to say, I would just be like, heck yeah, count me in, but I would probably be like, maybe, can you tell me more?
I don't want to know a damn thing. Just take me where you want. You win.
And the fun thing was...
Unless you're like Aya.
Yeah, no, definitely. That movie.
Yeah. That's not the adventure I want to go on.
Yeah, go back to our episode on Aya and you will realize you do not want to be
afraid.
Yeah, afraid. So David says yes, but then the GPS doesn't just accept his yes. He's like, tell me you're really in, and makes him like scream it. Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in for a big, beautiful journey.
Yeah, I love how at the end you saw him just mouthing it. I want to go on a big, bold, beautiful fucking journey.
Yeah. So he signs up, and his first stop is a diner to go get a burger. He's like, okay, well, I don't know what that is.
Like it wasn't telling him where to go. It was telling him where to go and what to eat.
Yeah. So as he's sitting there eating, he looks up and he sees Sarah, who he had met the night before at the wedding, also eating a burger at the same place. So long story short, her car doesn't start. They have to drive together because they actually live in the same city.
Well, it doesn't start because it's not supposed to start.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Because they're meant to be on this journey together. And then they start being directed to destinations, 22 miles, 370 miles, whatever, to your next destination. And there are doors in the middle of...
Nowhere.
Yeah, in the middle of the wilderness.
Just
woods.
here's a door.
Yeah. And they okay, so this is my first, when you said, movie reviews show, and I said, we would explore some of this through the what would you do's. The thing that caught me is neither one of them really questioned to, maybe once in just a very just passive, nonchalant kind of way. None of them said like, what the F is going on here? Well, how the F did I walk through this door and I'm in my high school, or I'm at my mother's hospital bed? They just very much accepted it for what it was.
Your GPS asked you if you wanted to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey, and then it told you to eat a hamburger. I think we've already accepted that weird shit's going to happen.
Yeah, so they go through these doors and they find themselves in circumstances from their past.
Yeah,
from when they were a kid up through, adulthood.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was sad. It was a pure emotional roller coaster.
So, next, what would you do? So you're already in on the big, bold, beautiful journey when you're asked, and then they tell you to stop. The GPS tells you to stop, and there's a door. What do you do when you approach that door? Because you don't necessarily know what to do, but you just see there's a door there. What would you do if you saw a door? And you can see the front and back of it. It's not like a door that's attached to a tree trunk or anything like that. It is a freestanding door that you can walk 360 degrees around.
I mean, I'm doing the same thing I would do anyway. I'd go through the door. I mean, do I think in the real world that if I go through that door, I'm going to be transported into a mystical plane where I can see my past? Probably not.
Makes you want to walk through doors, doesn't
But maybe. So screw it. I'd walk through the door just because why the hell would somebody put a door out there unless they wanted you to go through it?
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of horror movies. I would think it was possible that it was a door and a portal to hell, but the GPS was kind of peppy for that to actually be the passage to Satan's
Yeah,
lair.
it wasn't, would you like to go on a big, bold, fiery journey? No.
Kind of makes me want to put doors up in the middle of nowhere and see what people do. And actually, this reminds me, just in this very moment as we're discussing this, that's actually a plot line for the show that we watched on Apple TV. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they also had a door.
Yeah, love it. Love it, love it. And I love Schmigadoon. Like that type of thing just freaking gets me.
Yeah, you do like your rom-coms and your musicals, and that was a nice mixture of both.
Because it's that thing where there's enough mysticism that you can fully suspend reality and enjoy it. You're not having to be like, well, this is unreasonable. Because they've established early on that it's going to be unreasonable. But only the parts that make it so that you can see the other things in life which are completely realistic and real. Like being back in high school and having to perform a part of a play, and like those are normal circumstances. I mean, maybe not for like a guy in his presumably 40s to be doing the lead in a High School Musical, but
yeah, but everyone around him sees him as a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
So not only do you have the I'm going back in the future, but then people see you as that. If it's your memory, if it's not your memory, like it wasn't Sarah's memory, they saw her as someone who's actually her age.
no. In what world does Margot Robbie look 40?
Okay. So
I'm going to kill you.
we have several memories of the doors that they go through. So as you mentioned, there's the one where David goes back and he's in his high school play. But the point of that memory wasn't so much the play, it was about him remembering that was the night that he professed his love to this girl who was in the play with him, who had a boyfriend who was older, who treated her poorly, and they broke up 6 months later. And the girl said, yeah, I don't want to be with you. And he was devastated. Then we had other things where we went back to Sarah's mom dying and her not being at the hospital. And we had...
Yeah, I found out about my tear ducts and whether or not they worked, and they did.
And then we also had memories of them going back to breakups and, relationship breakups that they had had. So...
Yeah, they were both rough partners.
Yeah. So what would you do when you start finding yourself in all these different scenarios from your past? Would you try to play along and relive what happened? Would you try to change it? Because you haven't been told specifically any rules here.
I mean, again, you have this mystical, magical element to it, and it becomes a when in Rome type deal. Like, I see what they're going for here, and I'm playing along 1,000,000%. Because who wouldn't like the idea of being able to go back to your high school years with the wisdom and the knowledge that you've gained since high school to potentially make better choices? Because if you made all good choices in high school, you didn't go to high school. Like nobody made all good choices in high school. Matter of fact, part of being a teenager is making bad choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, to be able to go back and relive some of that with the wisdom that you have today. I mean, I'm just glad I could be in my own body if we went back and doing that and not having to watch myself, because I would be so cringe to watch.
So the one twist with the going through the doors and going back to your memories is toward the end, where David goes back to his house and he thinks he's the kid, but it turns out he's actually
The dad,
his own dad.
Yeah,
he has to talk to himself. He sees himself and he's talking to himself as his father.
Yeah, so that one caught me at first.
Because I thought the mom was his wife and time had passed.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought he was in the future.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and it turns out he was in the past. And it was the night that he told the girl that he loved her. So we go full circle with that memory. We start off with him being in that play, knowing that that's the night, and Sarah telling him, well, now you know not to say that. And he's like, no, I'm going to say it. It's how I feel. I'm going to do it all over again. And sure enough, he does it over again. He goes like, I know what you're going to say. And he tries to be preemptive, but the same scenario plays out and she doesn't do it. So that night when he's the dad, it's consoling him after that night where he got turned down by the girl.
But it should also be noted, and we talk about making better choices, but sometimes will you, if it actually were to come up? Because he had said, if I could go back and talk to my high school self, I'd tell him, listen, dude, just so you know, you're not really that special.
Yeah.
Because he was born with a heart defect. And it made him abnormal in a way, but he survived it and everything. And his parents didn't want him to know. They wanted him to just live as normal a life as possible. So they just wanted to say how special he was. And that was it, or special boy. And he suspects that, honestly, it's part of what screwed him up. Like hearing all the time, you're special, which honestly, yeah, it is. If you hear that all the time and you don't hear anything else, you're probably going to be screwed up as an adult. But when actually posed with the opportunity to tell himself that, dude, you're really not that special, he didn't. He said, I just want you to know you're special.
So what?
And I beamed.
Yeah, I mean, he basically took that phrase and as the father, he reinforced it. So the thing that he was questioning, he actually reinforced to himself when he was acting as part of his dad's memory.
Because it's easy to say, I would do this if I was in this situation, but like questioning, why did my parents do this?
So what would you do?
But then he had the opportunity to see it from the parents' eyes and understand this is why they said it.
Yeah, because one of his memories while Sarah is visiting her mother who has just died, and she missed it, and which actually is a false memory because it actually never happened, which is another little twist there in the movie.
But she apparently was screwing her professor.
Yes. But while David is waiting for her at the hospital, he actually sees his dad who's stressing out because his son was just born, which is him. And he has a chance to interact with his father and hear a little bit about how grateful his dad is to be a dad and to have this son, which is him. So there's little twists with these doors and these memories. So what would you do if you were going through these? You're talking about changing things and, sticking with things. What would you do in these circumstances? Any one of them?
Well, I think one thing that it shows very well is that no matter how well you think you know a situation from your past or whatever, the truth is you probably don't know that much.
Especially when you're a kid and you're protected from information and you're only allowed to see certain things and people acting in certain ways.
Yeah, like you think you know how other people think. You think about certain things, and then more often than not, I'm just going to tell you, more often than not, when you think somebody's thinking something, you're probably wrong. And I know Amber, my partner, is internally laughing that I would say that with some of the discussions that we've had. I know what you're thinking. Well, do you?
Yeah.
But no, like he had pinned motivations and things on his dad that just weren't true.
Like what?
I mean, he didn't see his dad as that great of a father and someone who cared as much about being a dad. You could tell. But seeing him in the hospital, oh my God, this guy really, really is freaking proud to be my dad.
Yeah, from the moment he was born, he was all about just wanting to be a great dad.
And it changes everything about how you might have viewed your entire life. I mean, this was a deep movie in some levels. I mean, some of it was formulaic, but like I was telling Amber, it's a formula because it works.
So toward the end of the movie, we have David return his rental car. He inquires if Sarah has returned hers yet, and they tell him no. So he goes home, and he's sitting on his stoop, and Sarah gets back to the car rental agency, and basically the GPS says, is this really the end of your journey? And she winds up, the GPS takes Sarah to David's house. So what would you do if you were either one of those characters at the end who were then, after having gone through this experience and now they're back at their hometown, what would you do if you were either Sarah or David with that last encounter?
I mean, it's the romantic conclusion that you know how it's going to go, but
Well, share what you would do. We normally don't talk about the film, but you had something you were really excited about after the film, and you did blurt out something, which is unusual. So share that as your what would you do?
I would have changed how the movie ended slightly.
So if you were if you were Sarah, what would you have said?
Like, she came back and she kind of professed how she loved him and he was worth the risk, and they have their kiss, and then he asks her, do you want to go through one more door? And it's the door to like his building so they can go up together. And what she should have said after the kiss was, will you marry me?
Because
earlier when they were at the wedding, she looked at him like they had pretty much just met. And she was like, will you marry me? And obviously that's kind of crazy. But so she should have asked that, and he should have said, well, it depends. Do you want to go through one more door?
Yeah.
And then go inside. And that would have been like the chef's freaking kiss perfect ending on that movie. I was really sad that she didn't use that line. But again, see, that's not really a what would you do. What would you do if you're the director?
No, it's what would you do if you were in the character's shoes. That's what you would do if you were Sarah.
Well, I probably wouldn't have proposed to somebody I met like 15 minutes earlier if I was Sarah.
Yeah, and honestly, I know you love this film, but that's like one of the things that just kind of like me is like, you just met the day before. I'm sorry, you people don't love each other. You might have seen all these insights and understand each other better than someone normally would within 24 hours, but I'm sorry, you cannot love each other.
Oh, I see this episode's not going to end anytime soon. Oh, I see. Yes, that is a can of worms being opened.
Oh.
I disagree.
Uh-oh.
I do.
Sorry, folks.
So I have said I love you to more than one person, more than two people, more than three people. We won't
you
say,
are a free love kind
we
of
won't
a
say
guy.
how much. And it's been at various stages. And love comes from a certain level of connection. And that level of connection comes from a level of understanding who that person is, where they're from, how they think, like how connected can you get? Well, how connected can you get in 24 hours? I admit, for the vast majority of people and time, no, that's not enough time.
Yeah, and this wasn't a normal 24 hours,
But
for sure.
In this situation, they were literally going back into each other's pasts and seeing the building blocks of making them who they were. And like, they had such a deep understanding, not just of their strengths, but of their flaws, of the risks that could be there. And love is completely irrational. It is completely irrational, but it is a feeling that when you know it, you just know it. And I mean, I don't know that I've ever actually said I love you to someone in the first 24 hours, but I can tell you I felt it because I felt very, very connected. Now, you don't say it because it just will scare someone. Like, don't say I love you in the first 24 hours, even if you feel it. Like, you're just going to scare the person off.
Yeah, it's like the movie Americana. Go back and watch or listen to our episode on Americana, and the character there definitely proposing to women after 3 dates. That's not a good idea. But no, I think you can. Now, in today's society and culture, when you like go on a normal date and you like have a meal and an activity and maybe a dessert or something like that, and then it's the end of the night, you're not going to love each other in that period of time. Like, that's not really enough time. But if you're in this truly big, bold, beautiful journey together, yeah, and learning more about someone that probably people who have been together for a decade might know about each other, because you're actually seeing the memories and like, being in those experiences with them.
He said it first, and then she said it at the end. And I do think it's completely possible for people, because you meet some people, like like Amber, I knew that you were something special. I knew you were something special before I ever heard you speak a word from your mouth when we met. I saw you, and there was something that immediately clicked.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not going to say I loved you at that point.
Yeah,
but
no, that's for the other girls.
I
love the other girls immediately, but not you.
Nobody did I love before they ever spoke. But like I knew that there was something very special there for us.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And it's an intuition, it's a feeling, it's irrational. It's not something you can necessarily quantify, but I believe that it is entirely possible to be truly, madly, deeply in love with someone in 24 hours. It's generally not going to happen, and it does take very odd circumstances, but I do think it's possible.
Okay.
Okay. I'll put the can back on, or the cat back on the can of worms. We'll save it for the next episode.
You never know when the can's going to reveal itself to you.
No. Any final thoughts?
What would you do if there was this very sketchy car rental company? Because it started because David's car had a boot on it. And then there was this very simple sign.
Very ghetto.
Yeah,
like someone had just printed it off on a color thing, and there wasn't even that much color in it.
Yeah, a car rental company. We're here for emergencies since,
Yeah, and there's a heart on it.
Yeah.
Like, why is a car rental company putting a heart on it? Like, you know what? I'm a very spontaneous guy. I am. And if I'm in a situation that I don't think is going to hurt me and is going to give me a story, screw it, I'm in.
I think it goes back to the very beginning of the film when David is on the phone with his mom and dad, and he's basically saying, I'm fine being single, I'm fine being alone, I like traveling alone, I like living alone. And his dad says, be open. And I think that's really what this entire film was about, is be open to the possibility, be open to exploration, be open to adventure. And I think that's a good reminder for all of us in a, what would you do scenario, is just be open.
Now,
and you just to the people and the circumstances and the opportunities, and push yourself out of your comfort zone. Sometimes put away that questioning mindset. Always be safe. Not telling you not to be safe, but just be more open, because it's in those moments that, I don't know, life lives.
So can somebody be a bad, like as a person, as an individual, can somebody be a bad partner? I say yes, but it generally involves things like domestic abuse, because you're just a complete and total asshole.
Yeah, there's definitely bad people out there.
But when you take two normal people and you put them together, and if one or more of them's a bad partner, it's not because they're necessarily a bad person. It's because that was a bad match. Like, they're a bad partner because it's not a good match. And I think what happened was they both got it stuck in their heads that because they had kind of consistently been in situations where they had been bad partners, that they themselves, especially her, thought, I simply don't have it in me to be a good partner. And
I think that's a good observation.
It's because you just didn't have the right other person. Like, love is not one way. It's two. And how you will act with one person and how you will act with somebody else is completely different. And
yeah, you see that in people who, had a first marriage that didn't go great, and a second marriage where, they're a completely different person or act a different way. It's just because those personalities just jived in a much different way.
Not to mention, love is also as much about timing as anything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, especially when you're young, you do stupid shit. And when you're young in a relationship, you still do stupid shit. It just might involve cheating or things that truly will kind of make you a bad partner at that point. And it's possible in that situation that maybe it was a good match, but the timing didn't work. One of you wasn't at an emotional level needed to be the partner the other one needed. So much goes into matching people. so much, and all it takes is one or two things to go wrong. You can have 1,000 things right. One or two things to go wrong, and the whole thing can come crumbling down, especially early. Once you get into marriage, it takes a little bit more than that because theoretically, but that's what it is. So just because they've been bad partners to everyone else doesn't mean that they were going to forever. And you take two people who've been bad partners to everyone else, put them together, and if we give them the happily ever after, which I'd like to, they're good partners to each other.
Yeah. And when we're open to loving again after we've been hurt, open to exploring again after we might have been burned, open to adventure again after we might have been disappointed, just being open to being vulnerable and seeing what life presents to us.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this because you hear so many times people are like, I give up on love. Da, 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 da. Listen, you get out of something bad. It's fine to say, you know what, I can't do this love thing for a while. Like, I need to get myself emotionally right.
Yeah, because you need to be in a good place to be a good partner.
Don't ever say, I'm done for good. Don't close yourself off. Let the world present possibilities to you and be open. That is how you can find your way to being an actual happy person. It's because you're able to explore these opportunities, not close them off before you even see them.
Yeah, and that really goes to as well being present enough to notice when those opportunities present us. Maybe that person who, you meet in the parking lot and when you bump your cars together and then you have some small talk. It's a scary world today, and I'm certainly not advocating that anyone just indulges any random stranger to do whatever. But I'm just saying be open and be aware and being present of the things that life presents, because it's so easy to be preoccupied with something else that you're not paying attention to right now. And in the context of this movie, had David not noticed the poster, had David said no to not wanting to go on the big, beautiful journey, had any of these things been presented with skepticism or apprehension or worry,
timing, the whole thing could have fell apart.
Yeah.
So yeah, in fairness, in 2025 or whatever you're listening to this, you more than likely met your significant other either at school or online, but it does still happen that you meet people in the wild. So keep yourself open. And I'll tell you this, more often than not, you find love when you're not looking for it. It really is true. It's a cliche, but it truly is true. Not when you're closed off to it. There's a difference between not looking for it and not allowing it. I've had periods where I would allow it, but I wasn't looking. I had other things I was busy with and I wanted to concentrate on. And don't try to force it. If you try to force it, you're going to get a forced relationship. Just be open. Like Amber said, be present, be aware of opportunities, and just be open to the possibilities that the universe is going to throw out at you. It's probably more mystical and magical than we really want to believe.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.